虚実を切り裂いて想定を入れ飛び立ったとこしへ
Time for the top anime of 2018, starting with My Hero Academia Season 3. That's right, the rookie hero Deku is back. This time getting really friendly and popular with the ladies. My Hero Academia Season 3 picks back up with all the heroes starting their summer training. Ultimately, this leads into the confrontation of the mystery big bad pulling the strings, which is All Might's nemesis, All for One. The highlight of My Hero Academia Season 3, and perhaps My Hero Academia overall, was the world just watching All Might versus All for One. I mean, the fight even frickin' trended on Twitter. Fans worldwide were cheering All Might on. All Might in return gave the world his everything to secure peace. But did he succeed? Either way, that was a very exciting first half. Then you got the second half, the license arc. All of a sudden you had Deku playing with his balls, and Deku still being super popular with more ladies. When did this become a harem? Oh, and you don't want to know what Great Boy is doing. I am aware that it's super popular to hate on this arc, but I'm gonna be Mr. Unpopular and say that I enjoyed it. It's actually a lot better if you don't have to wait weekly. However, even if you did like it, you definitely have to admit that it wasn't on the level of the earlier stuff. My Hero Academia Season 3 did pick up a little bit back with the Deku vs Bakugo stuff. When you go ahead and take the great amazing first half and the fine okayish second part, it averages to something in between. Definitely hyped to see the nudist, Mirio, and the top 3 in My Hero Academia Season 4. And by the way, a shout out to the My Hero Academia movie that I saw at Anime Expo. Time for an Isekai anime with an overpowered character number 34. Oh, but the real question is, how did Truck-kun take out this poor bastard? That you'll have to find out. Just like the anime name tells you, the spin on this Isekai anime is being revived as a slime monster. Oh, but didn't I say overpowered at the start? Let me give you a taste. Pain immunity, resistance to fire, thunder, and a couple of other elements. Body regeneration when damaged. Ability to mimic other monsters and their powers. Ability to absorb any item and fully analyze their properties. This GM voice in your head that you could ask any question. It's like Alexa, but actually works. The power of this god-tier dragon sealed inside of your belly, and being surrounded by a mountain of boobage. You lucky slime you. So yeah, I could feel about half of you getting turned off, but this anime did make my list. So what is so great about this overpowered Isekai series? I could almost say everything. Right from the very beginning, you could tell that this little slime has a potential to become the strongest being in this world. Just give it time. The slight difference is that you actually see how Mr. Slime gets stronger and stronger. Another very strong selling point is amazing world building for this Isekai series. The anime does take its time with getting you familiar with the game-like mechanics, along with the various monster types that live in this world. It does an excellent job at actually making you care about every single character you meet along Mr. Slime's journey, which to be honest really surprised me. It honestly got me to give a damn about practically every character. In such a short time too, 13 episodes. It feels extremely similar to what the Overlord anime was trying to accomplish. The only difference is that it's actually good. My only slight issue with the series is that there still is this vague long-term end goal in question. Will Mr. Slime simply dominate everything, only to force peace onto others? Or actually go the Overlord route to become the supreme ruler? Guess we'll find out, 12 episodes to go. Next up, Bunny Girl Senpai, as I like to call it. Or if you prefer, Rascal Does Not Dream of Bunny Girl Senpai. This anime definitely got the most attention this past season. So what happens when one day you suddenly see this bunny girl in your library? That's right, you immediately start thinking dirty with your lower head. Or rather, you should make her your freaking girlfriend. That would be the smart thing to do. This anime sure had it all. That Imoto sleeping with her brother, thirsty for his Onichan, and some ass kicking for your secret masochist side. But what the hell is this show even about? It really does center about the bunny girl Mai and this average high school guy Sakuta. Both of these two got a taste of puberty syndrome. And I know what you're thinking, oh, so they started doing it like bunnies. In this twisted world, puberty syndrome allows the supernatural to happen. For example, in one of the first anime issues for the bunny girl that occurs, no one is able to see her, and slowly more people completely erase her existence out of their mind. Some other cases include some students having doppelgangers, being stuck in an infinite loop, which really means reliving the same day over and over, some fun body switching, and more weird crap like that. It honestly gave me a very similar vibe to Haruhi Suzumiya. which is largely from the supernatural stuff happening in the high school, and a pretty similar main character, not to mention the now famous bunny girl. Aside from all this crazy stuff happening in the background, a highlight for me definitely has to be the back and forth between characters, especially the interactions with the main character. Notably, the stuff from him and his bunny girlfriend really reminded me of some of the dialogue from ReZero. And talk about the bunny girl, another huge plus for me definitely has to be their relationship. It isn't that often that you see this confident relationship in anime established early on or at all between high school main characters. It really reminded me of Kirito and Asuna's relationship. However, despite my praise, I did actually have some issues, which I can't get into here. This Bunny Girl Senpai anime is only 13 episodes, with a couple of extra long episodes. It does face the challenge of introducing and telling enough of a meaningful story in such a short time frame. For me, it did succeed with that, although almost just barely. It does feel like I'm giving it a partial pass, since I do know that the Bunny Girl Senpai has a movie coming out this summer. I'll just end this by saying that I'll be there in theaters on day 1 when that's out. Number 7. Hinamatsuri. Hinamatsuri follows the adventure of this high-ranking Yakuza guy that suddenly is forced to adopt this super special powered Hina girl. But wait, don't forget about the other superpowered little girls that show up to take on the one you own. You want an anime with junior high bartenders, a superpowered karate master, a Yakuza boss that won one of the worst adoption lotteries, little girl booty, and someone that rivals Aqua in terms of uselessness. Hold up a second, is this Aqua before she freaking died? This anime is just such a great supernatural comedic slice of life adventure. If you're looking for laughs, I highly recommend it. It really reminded me of the comedy from Konosuba. And I'm not just mentioning Konosuba since I'm a huge fan. This Yakuza guy's trouble really reminded me of Kazuma's misfortune. It's almost as if Kazuma didn't die, then he would become this mob boss. Instead of babysitting Aqua, Megumin, and Darkness, he'd be punished by babysitting this useless, borderline special needs psychic girl, on occasion the less powerful blonde psychic, and dealing with all the trouble connected to them. For all of the situations you see, you're gonna find yourself screaming and sometimes wanting to pull your hair out, or laughing your ass off. You're also gonna get very surprising, touching moments from this anime every now and then. This is more usually focused on the blonde girl's side adventure. Oh, and don't let the first episode confuse you. Hinamatsuri is more than naked little girls appearing. Just recalling some of this stuff, I actually want to rewatch this now with my roommates. Number 6. Skillful teaser Tagaki. What happens when a god is reborn in the body of a little 10-year-old girl? Time to abuse that power to troll this little kid, Nishikata. You got another slice of life adventure with a hint of romance. This anime follows the adventures of Nishikata and Tagaki sitting next to each other in their junior high English class, sometimes outside of that. The focus is how this young girl is always teasing or straight out trolling her little obvious crush. Super interesting, I know. When you think of little kids and romance, you probably got a very clear picture of some super awkward first love story. That's actually one of the things I loved about this anime. It does have the obvious crush and romance developing for these two, but that's really only ever in the background. I've seen so much anime at this point where middle school and even high school kids act so awkward and even cringy when it comes to their first love. Thankfully, none of that is in this anime. Tagaki trolling her crush never really gets old. I mean, the dude makes it super easy, often psyching himself out. Each episode has multiple different skits to it, so often you may see them in class, followed by them on their way home at a different time, or even a focus on these 3 other classmate girls of theirs. They're also pretty fun. And I really wasn't joking about the goddess part. It really does feel like Tagaki was blessed with some divine trolling ability. Maybe that's her quirk, which is for the sole purpose of messing with her crush. Anyway, I should point out my personal bias to this anime. The young girl Tagaki is voiced by Megumin's voice actress, which I slowly been becoming a huge fan of. Her voice in this anime is top tier. Then you got Eren's voice actor voicing the young kid. Think of this guy as Eren from Attack on Titan Junior High. Super similar. To be perfectly honest, I'm not sure whether I would have enjoyed this anime as much without them. But oh well, that's a possibility for some other different timeline. Getting into the top 5, SAO Alicization beginning. Your favorite so-called god returns with Kirito's new adventure. What better way to start off your new season than by taking out your main protagonist? That's right, it's time to make SAO great again. First kill off Kirito, then just go ahead and kill the harem off while you're at it. It's time to start from zero. Wait a second. SAO has now truly become an Isekai anime in SAO Alicization. Kirito's new adventure puts him in the VR world known as the Underworld. Super charming name, although this time it's not a game. And goodbye ladies. This time Kirito is paired off with the best blonde buddy, Yujiro. Hold up, what are you doing, Kirito? Not in public. So far, you really only got a fraction of Kirito's adventure into the new underworld. Kirito has gone from expert log chopper to sword intern and now prisoner for fricking murder. Oh, whoops. That escalated quickly. At least he's got Yujiro in the jail with him. Let's see if Kirito and best buddy Yujiro will be able to survive their upcoming battles against the top integrity knights. Overall, this is SAO Alicization, 50 episodes. It's supposed to be the best arc of the series, movie quality animation. What is not to love? If you've been around a while, I'm sure you're aware that I've been a huge SAO fan. So what did SAO rank lore compared to last year? To be honest, that might be a topic for its own video. I'll go ahead and mention a few quick things. I am liking, but not in love with the first 12 episodes of Alicization, which I think is expected. Season 3 is one huge arc, and so far you've only gotten a quarter. It's really not a fair comparison to compare it to other similar length arcs. Although if I was comparing, I think I enjoy the other similar length arcs more. Although Season 3 has been better than the Caliber arc, and perhaps the Fairy arc. My biggest issue for Season 3 is that this time around I'm actually a light novel reader. Yeah, one of those guys. Without going into too much detail, I'll say that it feels like they're moving at such an extreme quick pace. This is especially true when compared to the arcs in SAO Season 2, and trust me when I say I totally understand the 50 episode limit to tell the whole Alicization story. However, some of the earlier parts could have really benefited from giving the story more time to breathe. After all, some of the upcoming stuff in Part 2 and beyond only really matter and carry weight due to the beginning foundation. And this is not even getting into the stuff they cut out from the novel. So hopefully my concerns are for nothing. 38 or so episodes for Alicization to go. Will Kirito and Yujiro survive the underworld? Number 4. Yuru Camp, also known as Laid Back Camp. Not to be confused with Yuri Camp. That would be fun too, but something totally different. Yes, the CG DCT anime made it to my list. Cute girls doing cute things all over Japan, specifically camping. It really is a great slice of life anime with fun comedy thrown in. Super simple. Yuru Camp focuses on the story of an experienced solo camper, Rin. Yup, that girl with the ball on her head. Part of the anime episodes focus on her shenanigans out in the Japanese wild. The other chunk of the anime focuses on the pink-haired girl and the other girls in their high school. They're all trying to run this camping club. And to be honest, they just plain suck at it. Not hating, just saying. Although you really have to start somewhere. I mean, just look at me. Over 1,000 videos later and here I am. But anyway, I know what you're thinking. Doesn't sound too interesting. To be honest, I would probably agree going based on the initial description. This is actually the perfect anime when you're in the right mood. If you're the type of person that enjoys watching cute girls doing cute things, I'm sure you've already seen this or already sold on this. For anyone else, I would highly recommend Yuru Camp if you're in the mood for something really relaxing. You got fun parts here and there, all while taking part in these girls' camping adventure. And I know what some of you are thinking. Oh, it's all girls, any juicy fan service. Yeah, it is all females, but you won't get any not safe for work stuff here. Too bad. You may also love this if you're a camper yourself, or who knows, just a complete opposite, just pulling your hair out. I'll just admit that I'm definitely not someone who would go camping, but I am honest when I say that watching Yuru Camp has got me a little bit interested, at least camping in Japan. So overall for this anime, super simple concept, no real conflict, but super duper enjoyable. Cannot wait for season 2. Getting into the top 3, Steins Gate Zero, which is a follow-up to the 2011 now classic Steins Gate. So holy crap, it's been 7 freaking years. But is this a sequel, a prequel? Yes. I hope that Steins Gate needs no introduction, but just in case. The first anime series followed the mad scientist and his lab members as they developed the time machine. Eventually they find themselves unexpectedly mixed into some horrible crap that is connected to what leads into World War III. There's also an alien banana somewhere in there. Like I said, terrible crap. Now for my personal disclaimer. Steins Gate and the follow-up series Steins Gate Zero are based on visual novels. I am strictly anime only, so you don't have the comparison in mind while watching this. Steins Gate Zero is a story that takes place in the beta timeline. What would have happened if the mad scientist didn't go back to try to rescue Christina a second time? If you've seen season 1, you know what this means. Technically, you do already know how it all ends. Let me just say that Steins Gate is a perfect example of knowing how a series will end does not ruin the series. I personally was pretty late to the Steins Gate train, only watched the first season a few years back. While I did enjoy and like the story, I honestly couldn't say I loved it. This time around, you got 23 more episodes to flesh the story out some more. This extension now adds a lot of new elements and fun characters to the original story. including a totally legal loli. Yeah, she's like 30. It also addresses a bigger issue of mine from season 1, which was, you keep on hearing how World War III will happen, how the world is gonna go to complete crap. Keyword being hearing about it. Steins Gate Zero now gives you a good taste of that doomsday future right in your mouth. Oh, and in case you were still comparing the mad scientist to Subaru for the top suffering trophy, there's a lot more of that here for poor Okabe. Steins Gate Zero does bring back the familiar slow burn from the first season. Even Chris comes back in a unique way that'll pull at your heartstrings once again. The Steins Gate story finally feels fully complete with this entry, and personally now I can finally say that I loved it. Number 2, Attack on Titan Season 3, the first part. Or should I say, Attack on Humans, am I right? You really only had that one Titan fight versus a beyond colossal Titan. That thing must have ate all the other Titans. Anyway, Attack on Titan Season 3 was super hyped up for the long-awaited continuation. The Uprising arc shifted from the Survey Corps versus Titans into new territory. The Survey Corps versus the freaking corrupt government. Season 3 excelled in fleshing out old favorites like Levi Ackerman and Commander Irwin, but also the little blonde Historia, or should I say Queen Historia now. Unfortunately for Eren fans, he got taken out for a lot of Season 3. Princess Eren got kidnapped the third freaking time. He then got taken to a gentleman's church and got a back massage until he saw the truth from the Titan gods. That shows there's more dangers to this cruel world than simply mindless Titans. Overall, for the Uprising arc covered, I could say there's both good and bad for the anime adaptation. I'm sure you know that I've been a long-time Attack on Titan fan and manga reader, so I was really hoping the anime would give this chunk of the Attack on Titan story a massive facelift. But, did it actually deliver? This goes back to it being a mixed bag. Unfortunately, there's quite a lot of scenes from the manga that were cut. Some cut out for no reason, like humanity's strongest abs or blood during action scenes. The anime also heavily abridged the first 7 chapters, just speeding through them to reach the action scenes and center point of this arc quickly. A lot of the scenes in the anime were censored for unnecessary reasons. And yes, I'm aware, it's almost sounding like I didn't like Attack on Titan Season 3. But despite my personal negatives with the anime version of it, the positives still shine through. Most of the scenes that were action focused got that gorgeous overhaul that I was hoping for the anime version. Definitely a shout out to Eren's further development inside the Titan Cave. He's no longer that raging Titan boy that only wants revenge. He also finally learned how to get his Titan super hard. Wonder if his story had anything to do with that. On top of this season really laid the groundwork for the upcoming arc. Hardcore Attack on Titan fans really like to brag about that being the best arc of the series. But let's be honest, most of that arc wouldn't have the lasting impact without a lot of the foundation that this Uprising arc just set up. That's why I'm freaking hyped for Attack on Titan this year. Bring on the sushi and barbecue. Before my top anime pick, a few honorable mentions. Honorable mention number 1, Megalo Box. What do you get when you take boxing and have the boxers using enhancements to cheat? I mean legally. Megalo give you this underdog story of Joe coming from underground boxing matches. Eventually, Joe aimed for the big leagues, except that his broke ass was too poor to afford high-tech gears like his opponents. This anime really gave me the vibe of classic anime series like Samurai Champloo and even Cowboy Bebop, especially with the animation and soundtrack. Honorable mention number 2, Zombieland Saga. What happens when you got truck smash on a sunny day? Rah! You got revived as a freaking zombie. To make matters worse, you're suddenly forced to work in some crappy idol group in the middle of nowhere. Should have just stayed freaking dead. Zombieland Saga was really tons of fun with its clever spin on the idol genre. Honorable mention number 3, Food Wars Season 3 Part 2. Food Wars still somehow finds a way to make the foodgasm concept interesting. For this year, they introduced Food War Eisen, or Food Hitler some of you are calling him, and also losing some points again for cutting the season in the middle of the freaking tournament. Still, I'll be there when Season 4 comes around. And the last honorable mention, ReZero Memory Snow. So lovely, an hour-long special to spend some more time with the adorable Rem. Oh yeah, Emilia's somewhere in there too. So I actually watched this ReZero special while in Japan. As a huge ReZero Season 1 anime fan, it was a very nice welcome back to the ReZero world. I do emphasize nice, just an appetizer or even breadcrumbs until Season 2 gets announced. Still waiting. The top anime, Violet Evergarden. And it is the top spot, although I really consider the top 3 in a 3-way tie. To be honest, I didn't expect this anime to be so high for me. Thanks to Netflix grabbing this anime, you may have not even heard of Violet Evergarden. So what is this anime even about? The tale focuses on Violet, who you meet recovering in this post-war period. She was a young orphan that was used as a tool on the front lines for battle. Unfortunately, Violet ended up losing both of her arms near the end of this war. Fortunately, they do live in this Fullmetal Alchemist type of world, so she got some shiny autometal replacements. The anime follows the journey of Violet as she tries to live and adjust to this now peaceful time. During the war period, she was basically this blank slate, unable to even understand emotions, simply used for killing. In the present day, she's now employed as something called this auto memory stone. How fitting, which is pretty much this person that uses a typewriter to write letters for others. This includes writers, royalty, and the common folk who can't write for themselves or have trouble translating their own feelings into words. Recall what I mentioned about Violet having her own issues with emotions. That plays into a huge challenge of her taking on this job, and her life in general. Violet initially starts off as someone who sounds very robotic, or in her case, dollish may be more fitting. Almost no emotion in her voice, only very short, stiff replies. Still, Violet wants to continue living for that special someone who she foolishly believes is still alive. She wants to understand the meaning of the word love. The anime is a slow burn that takes you throughout Violet's adventure. With her job, it means she'll often be traveling to meet her clients, so you will get to meet new people and experiences from each passing episode. These people are affected and influenced by Violet as much as they imprint onto her. Slowly, the war-scarred Violet shows meaningful progression in her new life. By now, I'm sure you noticed the amazing animation. The Kyoto Animation Studio is behind this series, and it really is just breathtaking. The series looks like it's on movie quality level, sometimes even better than some anime movies I've seen. It really is a perfect mix of the blend of animation, soundtrack, and Violet's story. And perhaps more than I want to admit, but screw it. Almost every episode from this anime had my eyes freaking watering, and straight out in tears by the end of the episode. This alone could really be considered a gift from Violet's emotional journey. I can't say I consider this a complete masterpiece. It does have its issues, which I can't get into here, although it is as perfect as possible. I could almost guarantee this anime will be a classic years and decades down the line. As to why this has a top spot, which again I did mention is a three-way tie. Violet Evergarden succeeds in so much, telling you Violet's tale from start to finish in only 13 episodes. Attack on Titan Season 3 built on 2 previous seasons, and 1 full past season for Steins ReZero. There's so few anime series that actually tell you an excellent story in only 12 to 13 episodes. That's why it really deserves massive credit when it does succeed. And here's a great bonus. A movie is set to come out in 2020. For that, I'll definitely be buying my tickets on day 1. If you haven't watched Violet Evergarden, definitely treat yourself. Thanks for watching, now I want to hear from you, go and judge. But what I really want to know, question of the day. What were your top anime of 2018? Did any of your favorite anime make it onto my list? Which anime did I miss? Go ahead and post your list down below or post your top 5. Keep in mind I will definitely read them. By the way, my worst anime of 2018 video is coming next week. I'm sure it's gonna piss a lot of you off, but definitely subscribe so you don't miss it. I am also considering doing a standalone video for any anime covered in this video. That'll happen in this year, perhaps once a month. But anyway, smash that thumbs up and subscribe. Which anime are you watching in 2019? And check out my top 10 picks for anime I'm most hyped about. 2019 is already looking freaking amazing. Don't forget about my worst anime picks next week, and I'll see you guys later.